Create, play, love. Hello, magical ADHDers. I am Jessica Bose, your ADHD coach, helping you get out of your own way so that you can live the life that you say that you want to be living. Today, we're going to be talking about 6 reasons why setting goals isn't working. So it's January, right? This is the time that people are setting goals and trying to keep their New Year's resolutions. And without fail, the majority of people are dropping off by February 1st, if not sooner. And why is that? Well, the first thing is the Gregorian calendar is not in alignment. The way our current calendar is set up, it doesn't align with the stars, the universe, and the energy required is not set up for your success. So if you live in the Northern Hemisphere, the ideal time to set new goals is around March 19th, 20th, or 21st, depending on the year, because this is the spring equinox. This is when the new year begins in that realm. And then there's the energy that is required to do the things moving forward. So think about how the energy of spring makes you feel. Oftentimes, people are doing spring cleaning right before the equinox, and this is not a coincidence. People are purging and making room for what is to come. So don't fret if you didn't set your goals yet in January. There's a reason your whole being is resisting it. Winter is a time for hibernation and internal reflection. Forcing the new year, new me vibe is just not going to flow right now. So I would encourage you to hold off on creating your goals until March if you're able to. Number 2, people suck at setting expectations for themselves. Time and time again, I see clients and friends and people in general set themselves up for failure because of the ridiculous expectations they have for themselves. So people have these expectations like, I'm going to lose 50 pounds, I'm going to write a book. And while there's nothing wrong with wanting to do these things and having goals to do these things, there's a lot of nuance about setting those goals and being able to accomplish those things. So you have to think about your time, how your brain works, how your energy fluctuates from day to day, and what you can and can't control. If we take the example of losing 50 pounds, so people are trying to get their body right for the summer, right? So if the goal is to lose 50 pounds, that means there's 5 months between now and summer to be able to lose those 50 pounds. People often will finally get the gym membership and then they go, but then what happens? There's a lot of things that to navigate between now and 5 months from now. So sometimes, if depending on where you live, maybe the weather's really bad and you can't really get yourself to the gym. Or there's the comparison game. So when you are at the gym, then you're just playing the comparison game in your head of like, oh, I'm not doing it as good as them, or maybe I should be doing more, or I don't look like that person, so maybe I don't belong here. And then if you choose to start weighing yourself on the regular to track your goal of losing 50 pounds, then the day that you weigh more than the day before, there's this spiral of emotional angst because it's like, oh no, I'm failing. But that's actually a thing that you can't control as easily because your weight fluctuates all the time. So any of those mess ups can lead to a downward spiral, eventually leading to, well, I already failed, so what's the point of continuing? And that perfectionism that often accompanies one's own expectations is a motivation killer. So setting expectations for yourself that actually leads to success is a little bit art and a little bit science, and it takes a lot of nuance and practice. So I want to give you a few tips to help you when you're navigating creating these expectations for yourself. So 1, you want to start with your why. Why do you want to lose the 50 pounds or whatever it is that your goal or expectation is? Why do you want to do it? Do you want to be more toned? Do you want to slim down? Do you want to be more active? Do you want to have amazing sex? What is the real reason and the why? And oftentimes when you think about that why, you'll have some answers here, but then there's even more stuff underneath. So get to the bottom of your why as best as you can. And then you want to focus on what you can control. So you can't control the ups and downs that come with your body changing from day to day, But when you're clear on your why, then you can focus on the things that you can control. So if you're wanting to be more active, that's maybe your why about your body. You want to be more active. Then the thing that you can control is choosing to move your body more often. Less and less about how much weight you're going to be losing. And then you want to start small. Rather than saying, I'm going to work out 6 days a week for 45 minutes, maybe start with moving your body 3 to 4 times a week for at least 10 minutes. Having a small goal is going to set yourself up for success, because maybe you do that for a short amount of time and then you build on it. That is going to set your expectations in a way that's setting you up for success. But then you want to clearly define what success is. So when you say work out, what does that mean? So often people will actually do 45 minutes of a workout and still not feel like it's enough or that they succeeded because their goal wasn't clearly defined. So what does 10 minutes, if you're going to do 10 minutes of body movement, what does that mean to you? Are you going to watch a YouTube video and follow along? Are you going to do yoga or stretching or running or combination? Or do you have a list that you can choose from so that you don't get bored with doing the same thing every day? Like, define what success is, because then you could check it off and say, yes, I did it. So the third reason why setting goals isn't working, you would never, ever, ever, ever talk to another person the way that you talk to yourself. Be honest. How do you talk to yourself on the daily? This isn't to bring shame or judgment. It's to make a clear observation that you are probably not super kind to yourself. Like, in fact, sometimes you're just downright mean to yourself, and you would never talk to anyone else that way. So why are you the exception? The truth is you're not. You're not super extra special that you get to be mean to yourself while calling that behavior atrocious when you've seen it done to other people. Because when you demean yourself, it is difficult to succeed at the goals that you have. So the antidote to this is celebration. Anyone who knows me and is in any of my containers knows that we practice this all the time. Celebration, celebration, celebration. Celebrating your wins. And those can be big or small. Small things like remembering to move the clothes from the washer to the dryer before they smell. Or big things like you actually lost the 50 pounds. All of these different things are worthy of celebration. And starting to implement that into your life is going to start shifting your focus and allowing the flow of success to come to you and to be a part of your everyday. And I know people talk about like fake it till you make it, but sometimes it's a good place to start, because I've worked with a lot of people where celebrating themselves is not an easy thing. So pretending, even at first, can be a really good start. But what really solidifies the celebration is when you actually allow your whole being to be in the energy of that celebration. So a way to think about this is, if you have a kiddo or a niece and nephew or a best friend, think about when you are genuinely proud of them and you're celebrating them. How does that feel in your body? Like, so excited, so fucking pumped and proud of them. Like, what does that feel like in your body? That is the energy you want to bring to the table when you are celebrating yourself. And I would encourage you to try it. Allow it to be in all of the cells in your body. It's gonna spur on your success. Try it. So number 4, why setting goals isn't working. Consistency is overrated. I know this one puzzles people. Like, what the fuck do you mean, Jess? Consistency is overrated. Well, when most people talk about consistency, they allude to doing the same thing over and over and over again for eternity. So when you say on January 1st, I'm going to work out every single day this year, you're setting yourself up for failure. While this can be an awesome goal for a select few people, for most people, that's just not how it's going to go. Because the first day you miss, because you feel sick, you can't get to the gym, something happens to your car, you're going to consider yourself a failure and stop continuing the rest of the year because, well, I missed one day already, so I can't reach my goal, so I'm done, or I have to start over. And that kind of expectation is exhausting. And the reality is, our bodies require rest. It's probably not a good goal to work out every single day because maybe you might injure your body if you do that. Rest is so required. And you might be saying, like, Jess, you're exaggerating. My goal would never be to work out every single day. That's crazy. My goal is to work out 4 to 5 times a week. Okay, great. But what happens when you miss a week because you're sick? Or maybe you just miss one day, so you do 3 days instead of 4. Are you still successful? Plus, doing the same thing every day forever is fucking boring. We get to be in seasons of things. Something that works really great for me is setting up challenges. So one time I did a 90-day writing challenge where I wrote every day for 90 days. And another time I did a 60-day sit-up challenge. And I was very specific about what those things meant. So my 90-day writing challenge was like, I didn't have to write for a specific amount of time or a specific amount of words. It was just literally getting my butt in the seat to write because I was resisting writing. So I was very clear on my why. And then I did the 90 days. The sit-up challenge was, I built over time. So the first day I did 2 sit-ups. The second day I did 4. And so by day 60, I did 120 sit-ups. It was awesome. The last 90-day challenge that I did was different than the ones I just shared with you. I ended it early because it was no longer serving me. I did it for like 63 days, I think. And then I came back to my why and realized that I didn't need to do the full 90 days to be successful because I already succeeded in why I did the challenge in the first place. So I stopped. So consistency for every single day forever and ever and ever is overrated. But consistency short term or zoomed out can be really powerful. And when I say zoomed out, I'm saying instead of thinking about I'm going to do workout every day or 4 to 5 times a week for 45 minutes forever is probably not a thing that's going to be what you want to do forever and ever. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but it's not a goal that is going to be really easy to achieve. And plus, it's not like a thing you could be like, I did that. A zoomed out goal could be like, I want to start moving my body consistently. Now, when you zoom back in, then you get to be really clear about, okay, for 90 days, I want to do this. For 30 days, I want to do this. For this season, I want to do this, and then change it up. So when I talk about consistency being overrated, it's because of how most people talk about it. And so I just want to remove the stigma of consistency because I hear ADHDers over and over and over again talk about, like, I just want to be consistent. I just want to be consistent. I just want to be consistent. Well, fuck that. Consistency is overrated. Let's talk about all the other stuff that's getting in the way of you being consistent. Number 5, why setting goals isn't working. Most people don't really do accountability right. So if you follow me in my philosophies, you know that I actually don't really believe in right or wrong. So saying most people don't actually do accountability right is a bold statement. And I don't actually subscribe to the idea that there's a right way to do accountability. But I have seen where accountability isn't serving the people that I'm working with. So sometimes I've seen people get burned when they've done accountability with a friend because they ask their friend to be their accountability partner, and then either the friend doesn't really do their job of asking, or you start to avoid them because you didn't actually do the thing that you said you were going to do. And a lot of that is due to not having clarity about what accountability means. So being really clear with the people around you when you're asking for accountability is really important. So you have to get clear on what that means to you, what that means for them, what you're actually asking of them, and see if they actually have the capacity to do it. And some people try to use apps, and apps can be great. But I also know that ADHDers are great at having a bazillion reminders on their phone and then just swiping them away and not actually doing them, or forgetting it or avoiding it. And so you have to know yourself when you are setting up accountability. And sometimes it's just testing it. So I'm not going to tell you that there's a right way or there's a wrong way to do accountability, because there is no right or wrong way. But being really clear about what's working and then testing it and seeing what parts are not working and then pivoting and trying something else so that it does set it itself up to work for you instead of not for you. Number 6, why setting goals isn't working. Most people don't actually trust themselves. In general, we are taught not to trust ourselves in so many different ways, in so many avenues. We are inundated with advertisements telling us to do certain things, be a certain way, have particular things. And then we're also taught how to feel and think about everything: family, religion, school, government, social media, etc., etc. And then we do this to ourselves. We create this cycle of not being able to trust ourselves, because when we say, I'm going to do this thing, and then I don't, I betray myself. And that takes away trust. If you're familiar with Brené Brown, she does a really great job of explaining trust in her book, Daring Greatly. If you look up the anatomy of trust, she tells the full story. But I'm going to share a couple of quotes from Daring Greatly. Her daughter's name is Ellen. And at the time in this story, her daughter was in the 3rd grade. So I told Ellen to think about her friendships as marble jars. Whenever someone supports you or is kind to you or sticks up for you or honors what you share with them as private, you put marbles in the jar. When people are mean or disrespectful or share your secrets, marbles come out. Trust is built one marble at a time. And the same is true with our relationship to ourselves. When we are mean, disrespectful, don't do the thing that we said we were going to do, marbles come out of the jar. And when we are kind, stick up for ourselves, and follow through with our commitments to ourselves, marbles go back in the jar. Oftentimes, people don't even trust themselves to follow through with the goals they set from the get-go. And because there's little to no trust there, it's easy to fail. So, by following the things that we've already talked about earlier in this video, we can start to build trust with ourselves. And over time, you will know that you can and will accomplish and complete your goals. If this video was helpful to you, please comment below some of the things that stuck out that really landed for you. Being able to write down the things that land for you is part of the process of solidifying it in your brain so that you can retain it and keep doing it. So put that in the comments below. And if you want any support on your journey of goal setting, please reach out. You can click on the stuff below. I'll have my link to my Instagram and my email address, and I would love, love, love to connect with you. This is something that I really enjoy helping my clients with, is getting out of their own way so that they can actually succeed in the goals that they have for themselves. I'm sending you so much love, you magical ADHDer.